My stepmom falsely accused me of assault to block my inheritance. At 21, Dad believed her and cut me off. 7 years later, he learned the truth. My mom died when I was 16, cancer. My dad met Linda 2 years later and they got married 6 months after that. I tried to be happy for him, I really did, but something about Linda always felt off. She was nice enough when Dad was around, but the second he left for work, she'd completely ignore me, like I didn't exist. I was finishing up my last year of community college and still living at home to save money. My grandpa had left me a trust fund that I'd get access to when I turned 21. It wasn't millions or anything, but it was enough to pay off my student loans and put a down payment on a house. About $180,000 total. Linda knew about the money. Everyone in the family did. My 21st birthday was 3 weeks away when everything fell apart. I came home from class one Tuesday afternoon and Linda was in the kitchen making dinner. Dad wasn't home yet. I grabbed a water from the fridge and headed upstairs to my room. That's it. That's literally all that happened. 2 hours later, Dad came home and I heard them arguing downstairs. Then Dad stormed up to my room and told me to pack my things. I was confused. Asked him what was going on. He said Linda told him I grabbed her arm and pushed her against the counter when she asked me to help with chores. That I called her a horrible name and threatened her. I stood there completely frozen. None of that happened. I barely even spoke to her that day. I tried to explain, but Dad wasn't listening. He said Linda was crying and showed him bruises on her arm. He said he never thought I could be violent like that, but he believed his wife. I had 1 hour to get out of his house. I called my Aunt Karen, my mom's sister, and stayed on her couch for the next 3 months. I tried texting Dad, calling him, explaining that Linda was lying. He blocked my number. The trust fund got complicated too. Dad was the co-trustee until I turned 21. He filed legal paperwork claiming I was unstable and dangerous, trying to block me from accessing the money. It took 6 months and a lawyer I couldn't afford, but I finally got access to my inheritance. Dad didn't come to any hearings, didn't want to hear my side at all. I moved 2 states away, got a job in IT, and tried to build a life. 7 years went by, no contact with Dad, no Christmas cards, nothing. Then last month my Aunt Karen called me. Dad had been trying to reach her, asking for my number, said it was urgent. I told her I didn't want to talk to him, but she said I should hear him out, that it was important, so I called him. His voice sounded older, tired. He asked if we could meet in person. I almost said no, but something made me agree. We met at a coffee shop halfway between our cities. Dad looked awful. He'd aged like 20 years. We sat down and he just started crying. He told me Linda had left him 3 months ago, cleaned out their joint bank account and moved to Florida with some guy she'd been seeing for over a year. Before she left, she sent Dad an email, a confession. She admitted she made up the entire assault story because she knew about my trust fund. Her plan was to get me out of the house and turn Dad against me so that when she eventually divorced him, there'd be no chance I'd help him financially or let him move in with me. She wanted Dad completely dependent on her. The bruises on her arm that day were from her intentionally hitting herself against the counter. She'd been planning it for weeks. Dad said he found her journal after she left. Pages and pages of her real thoughts about him, about me, about how she was just waiting for the right moment to take everything and leave. He kept apologizing, saying he should have believed me, that he threw away 7 years with his only son because he was so desperate not to be alone after losing Mom. I just sat there listening. Part of me wanted to yell at him, tell him how much he hurt me, how I had to go to therapy for years because my own father chose a woman he barely knew over me. But he looked so broken, so destroyed by what Linda had done to both of us. I asked him why Linda confessed. Why tell him the truth now after all these years? Dad said she wrote in the email that she wanted him to know he'd been played, that she'd won. It was her final way of hurting him. We talked for 3 hours. Dad begged for a chance to rebuild our relationship, said he'd spend the rest of his life trying to make it up to me. I didn't forgive him that day. I'm still not sure I fully forgive him now, but we're talking, taking it slow. He's in therapy too, trying to work through everything. I think about those 7 years a lot. How different my life could have been if he'd just listened to me, if he'd trusted his own son over someone he'd known for less than 2 years. Linda's probably somewhere in Florida right now, spending Dad's money and not thinking twice about the family she destroyed.